Hello, my name is Collection Connoisseur. I collect digital thingamabobs and video games, and today, playing Monster Train. This time on Monster Train, I am continuing my attempt to Divinity Master every champion, and we're going to a new champion that I have not yet Divinity Mastered. That will be the Primordium. I've never won with this champion, so hopefully we get to do that today. And I've never played with the Umbra with the melting as the secondary before. Now, for the Umbra, we will have Plink, because that's what comes with Primordium. For the Melting Remnant, I think I really want Reform. The Primitive Mold. So we're going Exiled, Exiled. And I'm hoping, I don't know if it works this way, but I'm hoping that I get to reform my champion after it gets eaten. I don't know if the eaten pile counts as something that you can reform, but if it does, I would love to reform it. I think it won't work, but that's why I'm choosing that, to see if it does. Anyway, let's depart. So we have Making of a Morsel, Giraffe, and Emberforge as our starting cards. Emberforge is pretty weird. I've never played with it, I don't think. The other two are great cards, and I have Divinity Mastered both of them already. So we're going to try out Emberforge this time because the game tells us to do so. Also, we're fighting Seraph the Patient yet again. Seraph the Patient, I believe, is the most common type of Seraph that I've fought. Let's try to defeat Seraph the Patient again. Alright, let's look at our starting deck. Of course, Primordium, Plink, Primitive Mold, Train Steward. Oh, I have to press OK here before those go in my deck. There we go. So, Plink and Making of a Morsel are both ways to get morsels. We also have Giraffe, and of course the Train Stewards, and Primitive Mold. The Emberforge is weird. We only have one of them though, so it's not too bad. Let's upgrade our champion first. So, the last time I think I did Superfood multiple times. Actually, I don't think I did either of these. These are two different ones. So I could either go Superfood, which adds health, or Aggressive Edible, which adds attack. Let me think about what units we have. So the Giraffe, we would really like to add attack to. And then we have Train Steward. With the Giraffes and Primitive Mold, I think I'm going to choose Aggressive Edible. Let's go Aggressive. And then, luckily we get to start with 2 artifacts again. I really do like starting with 2 artifacts. And you know how much I like my Concussive Coals. The Tempered Talisman actually works pretty well with Plink, because Plink gets double the effect from it. But is that a good enough reason to choose it over Concussive Coals? I don't think so. Concussive Coals is really nice. And then, ooh, Lightstone Casing is a nice one to start with. Jackstrips is not bad, but it's also not amazing, so let's go Lightstone Casing. And start our first battle. The Gathered Clergy, of course we're going to have spikes. Now granted, having spikes on the first trial is real bad with our Giraffe and Primordium. So they're not great, but luckily we have Reform. And Plink should be very nice here. Why do you... Oh right, I chose Pack Shards because we got the extra artifact. So one of the things that's nice here is we can do Plink at the bottom. So let's start there. Unfortunately, we hit the one that has more than 1 health once. The Morsel Jeweler is not bad. I think what we want to do is put things in the center. Let's think about this. We want a Giraffe. Giraffe has Burnout 1. Not much you can do with Giraffe the first turn. If we put the Giraffe at the bottom, it will die even if we put a Train Steward in front of it. Because you've got 7x2 attack. It will die before killing anything, I should say, because it's going to die either way. I think we should set up on a different floor. It's just that if we set up on floor 2, is that much better? The Giraffe will already burn out. Maybe we don't play the Giraffe? So the Train Steward gets big? That seems kind of ridiculous. I guess we're going to make a Train Steward big in this first one. So let's do a Train Steward. Primordium, of course. That'll make the Train Steward strong. And we won't play the Giraffe because even though I have Reform, so it's good for it to die, it doesn't do much. It doesn't do anything this turn. And instead we could have the Morsel Miner actually giving health to our Train Steward. And then I just realized the Morsel Jeweler can't do anything because we don't have the space for it. Okay, well, that was a turn, I guess. It was a weird turn. We should be able to use Plink at the bottom and Ember Forge at the top. I like putting the Ember Forge at the top. So my Train Steward is dying, which is not what we want. The Ember Forge takes up 3 slots. Ick. And the Ember Forge doesn't deal any damage, so we can't use it to defeat the Collector. I'm definitely going to use a Plink on the Collector. And then, am I using a Plink here to try to get my Train Steward to survive? Ooh, the Primordium is going to die because of the spikes. That's not great. Let's put the Ember Forge at the top. I think no matter what, we're going to do that. The Train Steward is kind of pointless, so let's do 2 Plinks. One for the Collector, and one in the center to hopefully make this Train Steward survive. Ho-ho! That was exactly what we wanted there. So the Train Steward survives and the Primordium survives. We could use a Rubble Morsel and a Magma Morsel. No, just one. Just one. Let's put the Rubble Morsel. And then 2 Magma Morsels up here makes it so that the Ember Forge actually does something. Other than give us Ember, that is. Really not getting any use out of the concussive coals so far, because we haven't put anything at the bottom. The Train Steward only has 8 health right there. It's probably going to die. That's fine. The Primitive Mold does not get back Eaten cards. I kind of guessed that would happen that way, but still, it was somewhat sad. I guess we're going to play 2 Train Stewards at the bottom. 2 Train Stewards at the bottom? That seems terrible. We want to use a Giraffe next turn. And definitely Primitive Mold. We could put a Train Steward at the top. I think that's worth it. I'm questioning whether we want to put a Train Steward at the bottom. Because we want to put a Giraffe at the bottom, and we have a Primitive Mold here, which should be able to get back this Train Steward, and perhaps the Primordium. So maybe Maybe we don't play this Train Steward because we'd prefer to play the Giraffe, the Morsel Miner, this Train Steward. And if we do that, then we won't have space. So we just don't play this Train Steward. All 5 of these make it to the next floor. Not great. It's not going well, this first one. Alright. So I kind of want to do the plink at the top so that we could kill more of these, so that we take less damage on the pyre. We did get the primitive mold, which could get back a couple different things. We only have 4 ember. Let's use primitive mold. That gets a primordium. That's kind of nice. All of these are dazed. I don't think we're going to win at the bottom. Let's play a plink here. We've got damage shield, but you see, if we place this giraffe at the bottom, I guess let's play primitive mold again. That gets back our amazing train steward. So then we could put the amazing train steward in the front, who has burnout 1, so he does not last very long. And then we play a giraffe at the bottom. That's good because it will burn out. It actually dies. It dies because it kills these 2 and the spike skillet. And then might as well use the primordium at the bottom too. It has burnout 1. And then what? The morsel excavator and the morsel jeweler don't fit there. So I guess we're going to play them in the center. And something is going to get something in the center. This is not going well. Let's just say that. I think we might take damage on the pyre from Chains the Sighted. Which is pretty embarrassing, honestly. At least we got rid of the clergymen there. If I die on the very first battle, I hope I don't die on the very first battle. Let's say I hope I don't. How about that? We get to play all of these plinks. These plinks are pretty bad. Pretty bad, honestly. We're only dealing 6 damage to Chain the Sighted. Alright. Wow, this is going very, very poorly. And because this train steward is here, we don't get to use a primitive mold next turn. Oh no. We really needed a primitive mold that turn. Oh, this is so bad. I can't use any of these cards. I guess we play the primitive mold, but I think we get a ton of damage on the pyre on this very first battle. Alright, we can't play any of these cards. Alright, we don't die at least, but wow. That was the worst first battle that I've had yet. 28 damage on the pyre. Okay, well, not a good start. Space Prism is kind of nice. The Perils of Production is pretty nice to play with, but do we care because we've got the Ember Forge? I think I like the Space Prism. I don't think I care about Immortal Trade, right? The Lifesteal 4 just doesn't help with most of the units that we have. I'm going to take Space Prism. And then Molded doesn't do a whole lot to us. I do like Dripfall. I do like Dripfall. Ooh, Purifying Cleanse. I think Purifying Cleanse is what we need in a deck that has tons of Reform. Let's do it. So then, we're definitely going to the Merchant of Magic because we've got Lightstone Casing. Let's get our Umbra unit first. Both of these are not bad. The Crucible Warden could be amazing. I have used these two together before because I've sacrificed Morsel Maid to the Crucible Warden before and it was amazing. I think I'm going to take Morsel Maid. Yeah, let's take Morsel Maid. And I might sacrifice it at some point to one of my other units. So, Power Stone is amazing on a Plink. Yeah, let's put a Power Stone on a Plink. Let's put it on this Plink. I don't know why I care, but the leftmost Plink is the one that I want. Freeze Stone. Freeze Stone we don't really need on any of the spells that we have. The Ember Stone is always something that I like. We could add it to really any of these. Let's put an Ember Stone in a Making of a Morsel, I guess. What else are you going to put in Making of a Morsel? And then let's re-roll. Surge Stone is really good in a Plink, but not the same Plink as we added Power Stone, obviously. Stack Stone. We put it in that one, it would add Burnout 6. You know, Burnout 6 is pretty nice. Let's do that. And then we could add Emberstone to that now. We could. Let's add an Emberstone to that. Actually, I don't know if I want to do something else with that, so let's add an Emberstone to the other Making of a Morsel. And then Surge Stone to one of the Plinks. One of the Plinks that we did not put a Power Stone into. Great, and we don't have enough money to purge a card, so let's leave. And I should have looked at the Divine Temple already. True Stone is also pretty good in a Plink. Let's put that one in the same Plink as the Power Stone. No, that's the one with the Surge Stone. This is the one with the Power Stone. So it has Piercing and does not have Consume. Twin Stone. Twin Stone is not bad. Could go in Purifying Cleanse. Ooh, it could go in Space Prism. It could go in Space Prism. The problem is that Space Prism has Consume, but this basically means that we get to play it twice. For only one. Let's hold off on it though. I don't want to increase my pack shards too fast early. Let's move on. Especially we only have 32 health on the Pyre already. Disciple Conduits, Mark of Invasion should be easy to deal with because we have Plink. Let's see if it is though. Alright, and some of them are dazed, which is also good. Also, you've got haste, which is bad. That's bad. We also drew 3 primitive molds. Oh my gosh. We're gonna take so much damage on the Pyre. Oh no. This is actually a pretty bad start. Oh my gosh. How is it that this start is already this bad? Okay, I want to kill this one. I think the most important thing is to kill that one. because these guys are going to jump up to this floor next turn, and this is the worst one for us. So if we play the Morsel Maid and then the Primordium, what happens? It eats it once, which means we get to kill 2 of those. Nice. Man, 3 primitive molds in the first turn. That is not good for us. Alright, so the top floor is full. Very full of stuff. I really need to kill things on the top floor. I want to kill the Collector. Let's start with a Plink on the top floor. That kills 2 things. It would be nice if we could kill another thing on the top floor. In order to do that, I would have to play 2 Train Stewards on the top floor, right? I think that's true. That's not great. 1 Train Steward would die, 1 Train Steward would get 1 hit, and we could put morsels with it. Or what? I want to kill the Collector, but honestly, it's probably not a good idea. Alright, let's put 2 Train Stewards on the top floor. That means that we're going to kill 1 of these. And then we could Morsel Miner and make the other Train Steward have more health and attack. Or we could do the Morsel Miner down here. It doesn't do a ton down here because it just makes the Morsel Maid bigger. Let's put that up here. So this Train Steward is going to get bigger. The one that survives. The Morsel Jeweler and the Rubble Morsel will go down here. Ooh, he gorged... Ooh, he gorged on the Primordium. That was actually not what I wanted. So, now we kill 1 less clergyman, which means the top floor will be dangerous yet again next turn. This is going so poorly so far. Took another 3 damage on the Pyre. At least we have Plink. So we've got 2 Plinks. 2 Plinks means that we can take out the top floor. That's good. Let's do that. Top floor done. Who has died so far? A Train Steward has died. Purifying Cleanse does not help us this turn. Space Prism is good though. Put more space on this floor. That means we can add a Train Steward. I guess let's add it in the front. No, let's add it in the back. Because this one is going to get lifesteal and everything else that we play. Alright. And then Burnout 6 is not good when we didn't get to reform any unit left yet. And we didn't draw our draft, which already have Burnout. So this turn, we're playing all these cards. It's just, what order do we play the cards? Actually, we could play 0 cards. I'm going to play the Plink, though, because I want that Conduit Infiltrator to die. It did not die. Okay, well, anyway. Let's defeat the High Priest of the Light. Alright, we're at 20 health on our Pyre after the first 2 battles. This is going very poorly so far. We get another chance at Immortal Trade. and I still don't know why I care about it. We could put it on the Morsel Maid, and the Morsel Maid would be fine. However, the Morsel Maid is fine already, right? We could do Packed Morsels. Packed Morsels is not bad. Umbra Assault is not bad either. I kind of want to do Umbra Assault because of Lightstone Casing. I think I'll do that. Because we can upgrade it 3 times, I would rather upgrade this one 3 times than Packed Morsel 3 times. And getting more morsels does seem worth it. Hallowed Drippings is not bad. Again, we've got Dripfall, which I like. What do I want here? Another Purifying Cleanse? It seems good. Is it better than Hallowed Drippings? Maybe. Let's take another Purifying Cleanse. I'm going to try that card out this time. We might want to go to the left for the Pyre Remains. That means that we don't get an Umbra unit, though. And I do really want the Umbra units and the free artifact. Oh man. The 20 Pyre health would double our health, though. I think we need more units. So I am going to go to the right. And let's see what units we get. Actually, let's go to the Concealed Caverns first. Please be good. Alright, Arcane Machine, that can be pretty good. Press the button, let's build a card. So I want to probably do things that hurt the enemy this time. So that means Collection of Jagged Lines. The Shift Rod. Push it back or pull it forward. Or ascend it. Don't think I want to ascend. I don't think so. Although it is the most interesting option here. Let's do a pull effect. And then finally, yes, let's add more space. That's what I want. Great, I take the orb. That is not bad. And we can upgrade it 3 times. We could take another Morsel Maid. Or we could take a Shadow Eater. We could take a Shadow Eater and sacrifice Morsel Maid to it. Which would make it so that it gorges all the time. And it deals 10 damage to enemy units every time it gorges. I like that. The fact that it has 0 attack doesn't really bother me because we're going to get Magma Morsels. And Morsel Miners for that matter. Deal 5 damage to enemy units when a burnout unit dies. Or Golden Vault. Let's take Exploding Candle. I like this one. We're not getting Divine Boons. And let's move on. We only have 20 health. This is the first time that I've gone into Daedalus and wondered whether I'm going to survive. So, Constructed of Explosives, enter with Damage Shield. That's not very good with the Plink. Now, we have not sacrificed yet, so the Shadow Eater isn't amazing yet. But we could put the Primordium behind it and put it on the bottom. It would just deal 10 damage to enemy units every single turn. I kind of like that. We could put the Ember Forge in the middle this time. Let's put it in the middle this time. So we're going to have lots of Ember this time. Yeah, we're not going to play Primitive Mold, so we have Ember to do this. Shadow Eater in front, Primordium in the back. Great. That means that we deal a fair amount of damage to the front unit and we kill the rest. Now the Ember Drain at the top doesn't bother me too much because of the Forge that we have. The Morsel Made unit could go anywhere, except for the bottom. We have Primitive Mold, which is not what we wanted. We've got Plink. Plink could kill the Forged Disciple. It could kill the Forged Disciple. Old Magic could do something. Ooh, I just realized that the Piercing Plink could kill the Constructed Explosive. Oh, and the Constructed Explosive has Dazed, so we don't care. Those are a couple of interesting things to note. Old Magic could kill this one, and we could put Morsel Made on this floor. But I'd rather do Old Magic down here so that we can put Morsels at the bottom and have him do even more damage each turn. So what do I want? We've got 5. We can't do everything in our hand, but the Primitive Molds don't do anything, so we can do everything that we care to do. Let's put the Morsel Made at the top. Let's play Plink at the bottom? Question mark. Let's play Plink at the bottom. Ooh, it hit Daedalus. I did not like that. That was not my favorite part of that. The Morsel Jeweler, I want to go at the bottom. I want to kill this Forged Disciple. And I want the Morsel Made to eat. Let's do the Morsel Made. I really want the Forged Disciple to die next turn. And I don't know if we can make that happen. So I think we have to play Old Magic here, just so that doesn't make it to the top. Unfortunately, I would like to do it any other place. Oh, the Constructed Explosive doesn't move up. Interesting. So we can do a Plink up here that does 21 damage twice. We can do a Space Prism at the bottom. I like the Space Prism at the bottom. Let's start there. Space Prism at the bottom. Let's do a Plink. Plink will not kill any of these. The normal Plinks. The Plink with the Surge Stone will. So, let's do the Plink, the normal Plink here. Takes off the damage shield. Then we'll do this Plink, hoping that it kills either the Overcharged Apprentice or the Constructed Explosive. Alright, it killed the Constructed Explosive at least. We can play the Rubble Morsel at the bottom. That will mean you take more damage. We could play a Train Steward in the middle because... what else are we going to play in the middle? I guess a Draft, maybe? And maybe we want the Train Steward to die so that we could Primitive Mold something. Yeah. Maybe we want the Train Steward to die. Kind of weird. But let's have this Train Steward die. And then we will Plink... we'll Plink in the center. I'm worried about this overcharged apprentice, because our morsel made at the top is not doing that much damage, and we do not have a lot of health on the pyre. Yeah, that apprentice at the top could kill me. It really could kill me. Let's start by Umbra Assault, killing this one. That gives us a bunch of morsels. And then we can do Making of a Morsel here, Making of a Morsel here, and then Primitive Mold here. There. Now we should be able to kill this overcharged apprentice with just playing morsel units. Let's do it. So, some morsel units up here means that you are dealing a lot of damage. Burn out 1. Do I need to play the magma morsel up there? I think I do. I want to play things down here, but I think I need to play the magma morsel at the top, just so that he doesn't get any further. Let's see here. We can do 10 damage, 33 damage, 35 damage if I don't play the magma morsel. So we do play the magma morsel. And then the train steward, which will burn out. Actually, it's interesting that the train steward burns out because every morsel that I put up there, for some reason, did not get the Ember Drain. Because he ate it too fast, so we got the Ember Drain on the next unit. That's good to know. That's an interaction I did not expect. And then let's add the Morsel Jeweler at the bottom. You are going to make it to the top, but then you'll die. Ooh, you might not die because the constructive explosive will still be there. You're another problem. Okay, this is not the last wave. There's one wave remaining. Alright, the constructed explosive explodes. So you do die. Never mind. We have no problem at the top. So let's do some things at the bottom. Particularly a giraffe. Let's put a giraffe at the bottom. And give it extra burnout. Yeah. Give you extra burnout. And then one of these train stewards is going in the middle, really just to get it out of my deck. I'm going to put it in the front. Then we could put a train steward at the top. I don't want it at the bottom because I want to fit morsels at the bottom. So train steward at the top, I guess. Do we want it to die? If we put it in front, it will die. Let's do that. I do want it to die. Alright. Now we're at the final wave. You are going to die, so no problems there. There's no reason not to play Plink at the bottom. And this one has piercing, so it could kill the constructed explosive. Let's start there. It actually killed that one. Alright. So the constructed explosive will still explode and just deal 10 damage. So I guess you are going to burn out even though you have burnout 6. So you are going to survive for kind of a while. Do I want a giraffe or 2 morsels? I guess we want a giraffe more than we want a morsel. So So we'll play one morsel. That way you will eat that one and do more damage. If we do this morsel, you will not survive any longer. You'll just do a little bit more damage. Don't care about that. And then we could add another draft. And we could add burnout to this draft. So that this one deals a whole bunch of damage before it dies. And then I guess we put a rubble morsel at the top. Alright. So we're not winning this turn, but we are very easily going to win in 2 turns. Next turn, we could win, but we're not likely to. But in 2 turns, we're very likely to win. We are going to win in 2 turns if we don't win next turn. So we ended up taking no damage against Daedalus. However, I was very, very close to taking damage, to dying actually on Daedalus. So it did not go well. I just realized that since you haven't died yet, there's not much we can play in the middle. I guess Primitive Mold might give us... It gave me a Train Steward, which we can't play there. Okay. We can add a Morsel Minor to our hand. We can play Plink. We can play Umbra Assault. So we could use this Morsel Minor, and that's it in the center. So we will. And we do a little bit of damage. Then we're going to do this with Burnout, and then not play that one. Okay. Now, we easily win this turn, at least. At least that turn is easy. Overall, that went very poorly. Again. Apply Endless to a friendly unit. Huh. I think we learned that Endless... Did we learn how Endless and Eaten work? I don't think we did. The Umbra Stone applying Trample is really nice with Morsel Made. I'm considering the Remnant Pact, but most likely I'm going to take Umbra Stone. So Remnant Pact, what would we want to put that on? We could put it on a Burnout unit, but we kind of don't want that because we want the Primitive Molds to bring them back. Yeah, let's take Umbra Stone. Now then, the Morsel Maker is pretty good. The Crucible Warden is pretty good. The Legion of Wax. Summon 2 Twin of Wax and apply this unit's upgrades and stat changes. Willing to try it. Willing to try it. And then, do we want Fel's Remorse in this deck? We have a slightly expensive deck, but we also have the Emberforge. I think we care more about Light of Seraph or Herzl's Compound. Let's do Light of Seraph. Also, that 30 health is really nice on the Pyre. Alright. We could get a Remnant Banner, or we could remove 2 Train Stewards and duplicate a card. Which card would we duplicate? I don't know what I would want to duplicate at this point. I don't know what I would want to duplicate. So the duplicate is kind of pointless. But the 20 Pyre health and the Unstable Vortex are really nice. Otherwise, going to more Merchants of Magic is good when we've got the Lightstone Casing. Yeah. Next time we might go to a Merchant of Magic and an Unstable Vortex. And we might go to the Divine Temple. Okay. I think I want to go to the left. Very sad to leave the Unstable Vortex and the Pyre health behind, though. Let's get the Remnant Banner first. Wickless Baron. I like Wickless Baron. I like the Wickless Baron. Harvest works so well with the Umbra. I think the eaten units count. Upgrade our champion. So we could get superfood or aggressive edible. Superfood makes it so that we get health as well as attack. I do like that. But I kind of want to go the attack route. Aggressive edible too. And then let's go to the Divine Horde first. Friendly units enter with lifesteal 2. Not bad. When you play a unit, a random card in your hand is reduced to 0 until played or discarded. Woohoo, that's good. Mark of an Exile is not very good when we have taken the aggressive edible every time. So not that one. I think Flicker's Liquor is the way. That's so much energy. And Merchant of Magic. So upgrade a spell to remove Consume and cost 1 more. I like that on the Space Prism, because I would love to get tons of space. Let's do it. So Space Prism no longer has Consume. Power Stone. The old magic is good with Power Stone, so is the Umbra Assault. I could also do it to this Plink that we've upgraded a couple times. I like the Plink, because 31 damage twice is very significant. And then Emberstone, we are putting that on, I guess, Umbra Stone? No. We could add it to Space Prism, because what else do you add to Space Prism? Yeah, what else do you add to Space Prism? And then reroll. Stack Stone. It's good on Purifying Cleanse. It would cost all of our money. We couldn't play a Power Stone as well. I think I want to go wide rather than tall here, so let's go the Power Stone on the Umbra Assault. And an Ember Stone on something. Could be the Purifying Cleanse. Could be a Primitive Mold. Could be a Plink. Or Old Magic. Let's do it on Old Magic. Alright. Wish I had more money, because I would have bought the Stack Stone too. We could do a Mark of Invasion. I do really want to do the Mark of Invasions. The 150 gold is good. Theoretically, with as many Plinks as we have, and which other things? The Drafts, and the Umbra Assault, and the Old Magic. Mark of an Invasion should not be bad. It might be bad, but it should not be bad. That's what I'm saying. It should not be. Alright, let's see how bad it is. The Morsel Maid could go at the bottom. I like that. We could also put it at the top. Of course, we could put the Legion of Wax at the top. Kind of like the Legion of Wax going at the top. We will be playing Plink at the top this turn. So plink at the top first. Good. Now, because of Flicker's Liquor, when we play one of these, the other one will be free. So we're playing a Legion of Wax at the top. We got 2 rubble morsels. That's not the morsel that we wanted. So let's play Morsel Maid at the bottom. And then immediately do a Primordium at the bottom too. But after the Morsel Maid so that he eats this turn. Great. We're doing a fair amount of damage to the Clipped Reflector. We could increase that by playing Morsel Maid, or the Rubble Morsels, I mean, at the bottom. Or we could play the Rubble Morsels up here because the Legion of Wax gets... Ooh, I should have played the Rubble Morsel before playing the Legion of Wax. Whoops. Oh well. But I like the Legion of Wax getting more attack and health, because that goes to the Twin of Wax when it dies. I like that. And it gives me more energy for next turn. Let's do that. Let's deal with the Clipped Reflector later. And I guess the Quill Marksman. Alright. The Collector shows up at the top. Not exactly where I wanted it to show up. The Wickless Baron could go a couple places. Right now what's going to happen is this guy dies. He creates 2, and the 2 end up killing those. We need more to die, though. We could do that by placing... Ooh, where do we put the Shadow Eater? So we want the Shadow Eater, I guess, in the center. Because the bottom is kind of full, and he'll never get to eat at the bottom because the Morsel Maid is there. At the top can't take him. So I guess he's going in the center. So you're going in the center. Now what? The Wickless Baron could go... We don't want him at the bottom because we want there to be morsels at the bottom. Actually, you're going to get eaten, so we could end up using him at the bottom. Okay. Could end up using the Wickless Baron at the bottom. We probably want to plink at the top. Just so that we avoid damage on the pyre. So plink at the top. There we go. Now everything is dying at the top. How does that work? So you would die and then one of the Twin of Wax dies? That's not bad. We could put a Train Steward up there. And if we put a Train Steward up there, then we could put it in front. No. We don't want the Train Steward in front. I guess we keep the top as it is. So, at the bottom, what we want to do is play Old Magic on you, obviously. So play Old Magic on you. And then we want to play the Wickless Baron. Wickless Baron goes here because lots of things are going to die. I should have played him first so that he got the harvest. And then I mostly want these to be eaten by you. mostly. Do we put the train steward at the top just because we have nowhere else to put it? I guess so. Train steward at the top because we have nowhere else to put it. You get 2 morsels. Alright. There we go. Our twin of wax is breaking apart, which is what we want him to do. I think that also adds him to our consume pile so we can reform him. Granted, it would be hard to fit him once he's reformed, but still. Everybody's dazed at the bottom. At the top, you are dying after killing a mote of wax. You are not currently dying. Ooh, Umbra Stone. Umbra Stone is perfect. We can play Purifying Cleanse and Umbra Assault, and then Train Steward Umbra Stone. Or we could ignore the Purifying Cleanse because who cares about something having burnout? And play Train Steward and Umbra Stone. Or ignore the Train Steward. We could play Umbra Assault, no Train Steward, and just the Umbra Stone. Nice thing about playing Train Steward is the Flicker's Liquor makes it so the Train Steward makes something free, which would be great for Umbra Stone. I guess I'm going to play Purifying Cleanse on you. Ooh, if we do that, he'll gain armor. Is that armor bad? Because we are doing... Yes, if we gave him armor 10, I don't think we kill him anymore. So we won't do that to that Train Steward. Instead, we're going to play Umbra Assault on you. And then we have morsels. We're going to play a morsel here. Which one do we want? I guess we want lifesteal at the bottom, so we play one here. Ooh, Umbra Stone. Oh, the morsels trigger Flicker's Liquor? Oh man. I thought that would be non-morsel units. Okay, never mind. Flicker's Liquor is absolutely amazing. So, trample on you. That's really obvious. And then you could get to the top floor and we would be fine with that. So I don't feel the need to play another morsel unit there. I think what we do is we play a Train Steward here. Do we even want to play a Train Steward here? I don't want to. I just don't want it in the deck. But we won't play it. Instead, we'll play Making of a Morsel, and we'll play a couple morsels down here. Did he harvest the morsel miner? He does not. You do not harvest the morsels. Okay. Flicker's Liquor works with the morsels, but the Baron does not work with the morsels. Alright, you kill all of them immediately. So the bottom is taken care of. We don't have much space for the Ember Forge. You have a lot of health. That's the current problem. You have a lot of health. Let's play Primitive Mold. See what we get. We got a Legion of Wax that doesn't fit anywhere. I would love to play the Legion of Wax, though. It just doesn't fit anywhere. So instead, we are going to try to deal this one as much damage as we can, which is playing Plink, playing Morsel Miner, and being done. Because that's as much as we can do. Okay, that was not a good turn. I don't like the one in the center. The one in the center has way too much health. The bottom is taken care of. But the one that is now at the top is quite a problem. Let's play Reform again. Oh, whoops. There was nothing there. Alright. No problem. We can deal you some damage. Not a lot of damage, but some damage. Because we can play this one. We could play the Train Steward and the other Draft up here if I use the Space Prism on this floor. Which I guess we're going to do. I guess we're going to do that. Play the other Draft. Oh no, we can't fit the Train Steward up there because the Train Steward has 2. Alright. We'll put the Train Steward here then. Okay, so you are going to deal damage to the Pyre. The Pyre will kill you in 2 hits, so you're going to deal 20 damage. Wow. But that extra damage that I did that turn did make it so that we didn't take even more damage on the Pyre. Alright. What can we do? We can play Primitive Mold, which can get back a Draft now. That's really nice. So, Primitive Mold. We can play Plink Plink. These are the bad Plinks, so they don't do much. We could play another Primitive Mold to get another Draft. Ooh. Another Draft is good. So now we've got a couple of Drafts, and we've got a couple of Plinks that we can play. We want to play a Draft in the middle, I think. What does more damage? If we play the Draft in the middle, then it gets to deal 30 damage twice. If we put it in the front, then it dies really fast. But maybe you live another round? Maybe? Let's think about it even more. Morsel Maid. You die in how many hits? You survive only once. So if we put a Draft in front of you, do you survive longer than that? You would take 14 damage the first time, and then... No. You still survive only once. So the Drafts go in the middle. We can play Plink now. Ho-ho, if we play this Plink and it hits this one... Yes! That is extremely helpful, because now we can play a Rebel Morsel. Make him a little bit stronger. And you might last longer now. So that changes the math, maybe? Why do you die? Why do you die? Oh... Why does he die? I'm very confused as to why this back unit dies. I need to figure that out. You have Trample, but we don't have any excess damage that we deal, because the front one doesn't die. When you die, the Exploding Candle deals damage. Alright. That's why you die. So, we're not winning this turn, but we're dealing a whole lot more damage than we were first going to deal. Great. I think that there's no problem with us winning now. It's just that we might have to win on the top floor. Space Prism would do not very much for us on this floor. Would it do much for us on the top floor? Yes, we could play a Legion of Wax, which admittedly would burn out, but maybe we would get it back with a Primitive Mold. We are not going to play Emberforge at the top. So we play Legion of Wax at the top after playing Space Prism. That will burn out immediately. But when it burns out, it also creates Twin of Wax. Ooh, nice. And then we can play Self-Mutilation here, and we can play Plink here, which means we almost win on this turn. Alright, and then we win. Let's play the Self-Mutilation so that we don't take damage. But then we win with the Legion of Wax. The Legion of Wax basically earned that victory. Oh my gosh. 22 damage taken, only a one-turn boss rush. We're doing so poorly this run. But we're still winning. Engine upgrade. We could get another Ember Forge. The Ember Forge is not doing much for us. Prism Retrieval draws a unit. Interesting. Ooh, engine upgrade does -1 capacity. Oh, I don't like that. We have Flicker's Liquor. We do not need +1 Ember per turn, because Flicker's Liquor gives us a ton of Ember. Let's take Prism Retrieval. Now, Subsuming Blade is piercing and does 5 damage. And if you slay, you increase damage by 3 permanently. It seems fine, but how many times are you actually going to be able to use it before the end? Harvest, gain 1 soul, extinguish, deal damage to enemy units equal to 15 times the soul count. It's fine. Deal damage to enemy units equal to 3 times the number of friendly units deaths this battle. Ooh, all enemy units. Let's take Fatal Melting. I like Subsuming Blade, but I think it's not going to be amazing. And Fatal Melting seems like it might be good with our deck, especially now that we have the Legion of Wax. Alright. I probably want to go left. I do want to visit a Merchant of Steel this run, because I definitely want to add things to Legion of Wax, for example. However, I think we really need that Pyre Remains, and the Unstable Vortex removing 2 Train Stewards would be very nice. So we're going to the left. Let's get those Pyre Remains. Let's remove 2 Train Stewards. 2 Train Stewards. Gone. Now, Divine Temple. The Extreme Stone is very nice, but I really came in here to do the Engage Pact, because if I do Engage Pact, sacrificing Morsel Maid for Shadow Eater, then every morsel that I get can be a 10 damage bomb on the floor, as well as just constantly heal the Shadow Eater. So, I'm going to do that. Sacrifice Morsel Maid, and then put that on Shadow Eater. Okay. Now, we have a bunch of pack shards. I do really want Extreme Stone. Seek Stone. Seek Stone would work really well with Prism Retrieval, actually. However, I might do Extreme Stone. Extreme Stone would work very well on a Plink, for example, or on a Fatal Melting. I'm thinking about upgrading another plink, because the plinks are getting really bad, and it'd be very nice to have good plinks in the deck. Let's do another plink. So 31 damage twice. Now, we've got way too many pack shards. We only have 48 health. That might kill us, honestly. But I'm trying to go towards things that could actually help me. Keepstone. Keepstone. I think we want to put Keepstone on old magic. Because then we could get +1 space every turn. And that would be very nice with the deck that we have. We could do a Surge Stone. Surge Stone would make the last of the plinks usable. And then we would be getting rid of primitive molds and train stewards. I think I like that. Emberstone is always useful. What would we want to play it on? It could be a Fatal Melting. Honestly, getting things to 0 cost is pretty good with Flicker's Liquor. So I'd rather get something to 0 than 1. Could put it on this plink. Could put it on... The old magic is already 0. Never mind. Could put it on Prism Retrieval. But let's get something to 0 cost. I'm going to do the good plink. Good plink is going to be 0 cost. Reroll. Surge Stone. Surge Stone is basically no longer helpful because it adds Consume to something that I probably don't want to have Consume. Umbra Assault is the only real option here that I would consider, but I don't think I want it. Eternal Stone. Could go on Prism Retrieval. Could go on Umbra Stone, but that's only okay. Not great options here. The Prism Retrieval is the main one that this would be useful on. It would reduce its effect, but it means that we could play it over and over again. I don't think that's the best one to play over and over again, though. So let's just get an Emberstone. And put that on something that does not consume itself. Like the Umbra Assault, I guess. Okay. Let's purge a card. And we're going to purge a Train Steward. A Train Steward or a Primitive Mold. Still Train Steward. Let's get those out of the deck. Now, we could die here. Honestly, we could die here. And we're definitely not turning on Aggressive Amulet. Like I said, we could die here. So let's go. See if we die. The Primordium is, of course, good. The Wickless Baron is not the one that we want to see first. Not the one that we want to see first. We could do Umbra Assault, though. Kill that one. Don't like that you get Harvest for that. Yeah, I don't like that you get Harvest for that. Still, killing you is good. So let's kill you. Right? Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, since these two are dazed, we could put the Wickless Baron in front, for now at least, until we draw something else that we want in front. How much does our thing cost in space? 3. 3 cost in space. Okay. let's do it anyway. Wickless Baron in front, Primordium in back. That kills these front two already. The Umbra Assault, I want to kill this one because we get morsel units this turn. So let's do that. And then we get morsel units that can help the Wickless Baron. And then we're kind of sad because he is bad. The one that survived here is not a good one to survive. Alright, we got our Morsel Maid. Morsel Maid could go in the middle. Or at the top. The Morsel Maid Shadow Eater is what I should be calling it. This has deal 2 damage twice. We really basically need this to kill a unit. That's a problem. If I play it in the middle, it could kill the Collector. If I had played at the bottom, it could kill one or both of these. So playing it at the bottom might be the better option. Just because it has a lot more chance and it helps the Wickless Baron. Let's do that. Alright, we killed exactly one. Not the best. However, that does mean that we can do some things here. Where do we want the Legion of Wax? Where do we want the Morsel Maid Shadow Eater? Morsel Maid Shadow Eater. I kind of want this one to be in the center. So maybe we play the Rubble Morsel at the top with the Legion of Wax. And we play the Giraffe right here. Deal some damage right now. So the Giraffe goes here. That made the Shadow Eater 0 cost. It's really a question of where am I playing the Rubble Morsel? Because I could fit it basically any floor. Any floor could take the Rubble Morsel. If I do it this turn, then I don't get the Ember for next turn. If I do it at the top, then we can take the Ember Drain on the Rubble Morsel, and then we don't experience the Ember Drain and we get the Ember next turn. If I do it in the middle, then we could do the Morsel Maid this turn to deal some damage. If I do it at the top, we could put it on the Legion of Wax. Many choices. Many choices. I do want the Legion of Wax to die. We could have it die this turn by putting it in front, but you harvest, which is not the best. I think we want the Morsel Maid Shadow Eater in the center. So let's do that. And then the Rubble Morsel we probably want for next turn. So let's place it up here. Let's put the Legion of Wax up there. And then a Fatal Melting does 0 damage. Currently. It'll do more later, especially since you've burned out. Alright, you are still a problem. This overcharged tank is a problem. This next one will also be a problem. Not doing too hot here. We're not currently going to die, but we're getting close to dying this time. Okay, we could play the Prism Retrieval now. We would draw a unit. There's 3 available units. There is Draft, Train Steward, or Ember Forge. Basically anything but Train Steward would be good to me. And we would still get to play Umberstone. Granted, what do we play Umberstone on? I'm not sure. But either way, we're playing this Prism Retrieval right now. Ho ho, we got a Draft. Ho ho, we got a Draft. I think that means we put that Draft at the top. And it burns out, but we deal this one a bunch of damage. I think that's what that means. Draft at the top. Alright. So you are going to deal the Pyre damage. Only 10 damage, though. Only 10 damage when we have 48. Still not good. Making of a Morsel, of course we play. And we're playing both of these morsels here, I think. You got 10... Does the Eaten affect this harvest? Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Because the Eaten doesn't affect this harvest. I feel cheated. What are we going to play Umberstone on? I like my Umberstone, but I think the best thing it can go on is this one, which is not very impressive. Oh man. So the Morsel Miner is going to go here. That kills this one. Okay. Why did it get 10 health the first time? Not sure. Okay. I do not feel good about this battle. So far, we are set to lose, I think. And I don't feel good about it. Because that center floor is still pretty bad. Okay, so the top floor, can I do anything about it? Yes, if Primitive Mold gives me something good. We got a Draft. We got the Legion of Wax. Legion of Wax fits places. Fits at the bottom. And we do have the Space Prism, so we can fit it in the center or the bottom. Probably we would want it at the bottom. 31 damage twice on this Plink means we could take that one out right now. I think that's worth it. Alright. Now then. The Rubble Morsel could go here, immediately get eaten, kill a unit. Then what? The Draft could go in the back, deal some damage here. The Legion could go at the bottom. The Legion going at the bottom helps. Things die. Ooh. Exploding Candle. Exploding Candle works even if the burnout unit doesn't die from burnout. Good to know. I think we use this Draft here. And then I want to play this Train Steward partially to get it out of the deck. We could put it at the top, but I don't like that. Could put it in the center. If we play Space Prism in the center and we play the Train Steward, we still have places to put morsels. Let's do that. Okay. We're not killing this one, which is not great. But we're putting it at 2. And then this overcharged tank is the next problem. And then that overcharged tank is the following problem. But this is more of a problem. So, can we survive? There's only 2 waves remaining. Although our bottom isn't fantastic. It's not terrible, but it's not fantastic. Deal 5 damage to enemy units when a burnout unit dies. Okay. So, up here, you are currently gaining health. We don't like that. Let's use Primitive Mold. There we go. Now we have a unit that we could put at the top, and it would be good at the top. We could use Plink. Plink would most likely kill that one, which would mean all the damage goes to this one. Plink cannot kill this one, so yes, we're playing Plink at the top. Where are we playing Old Magic? Old Magic is fine in the center. If we play our Burnout unit up here, the Giraffe up here, that doesn't quite kill you, which means we're going to play Old Magic to make sure that you die. Alright. We don't have a place to put Emberforge. Even though we have so much space, we still can't fit Emberforge. Very sad. The Morsel Jeweler, though, goes right here. And then Purifying Cleanse, we could make it so that this one doesn't die, but do we want that? I kind of want it to die. I think I'd prefer this one not to die. So let's do Purifying Cleanse on this one. Alright. We're not dying. We took 10 damage so far, but I think that might be the total damage we're going to take this time. We'll find out next turn. Oh, they all burned out. The Crystal Cloak. I forgot that we were playing against the Crystal Cloak. Playing against the Crystal Cloak is actually real bad for us because of the Stealth 10. Granted, Primitive Mold could help. Yes, we got the Legion of Wax. Exactly what I wanted. With Burnout 2, in fact. We could even add Burnout 6 to it. Unfortunately, we can't play everything. Not everything. Let's see what this makes free. That made the Emberforge free, which is the thing that we can't fit. Okay. So we could play either Purifying Cleanse or Plink down here. Or we could play Old Magic up here and the Emberforge up there. And then play these two. I think I like that the most. I wanted to play Old Magic down here, but if we play it up here, we also get to play Emberforge, which means we get to play both Purifying Cleanse and Plink. Do I want you to die? I don't know. Let's play the Emberforge in the front. Okay, now we get to play Plink down here, and Purifying Cleanse to add a whole bunch of burnout to him and the ones that come after him. Which didn't do a lot, actually. I guess you would have killed them all anyway. So, maybe we should have done it to you. In any event, the Crystal Cloak starts off dazed, and then it has to fight through all of the Legion of Wax. Which it does. Oh, the burnout didn't go... The extra burnout did not go to the children of the Legion of Wax. That did not happen the way that I wanted it to. Ho-ho, Primitive Mold. Come on, give me Legion of Wax again. It gave me Wickless Baron. Actually, the Wickless Baron has 136 damage, so I'm happy with that too. Alright. So then, now we should win. 60 damage. Oh, we don't win because of the Burnout 1. Otherwise, we would be winning. Probably should have put you in front then. Do we win on the next floor? Oh no, I'm not sure. That burnout 1 hurt. Oh no. You've got 194 health. We can play Plink. We can do a Making of a Morsel, which we can actually play. Making of the morsel that comes out of it. Because of old magic. There we go. Okay. We're winning. Just barely. Just barely winning. But we did win. Oh man, this particular run has been a struggle the whole time. Umbra Stone, don't care. Gem Trove. Yes, we want Gem Trove. Especially because we have Flicker's Liquor. Engulfed in Smoke adds Stealth 2, that's only okay. I like Memento Mori and a Fatal Melting. But we need our units to die in order for that to happen. I guess they're dying more often, especially because we have the Legion of Wax. So, would we rather have Memento Mori or Fatal Melting? I think Memento Mori. Let's have different options rather than two of the same option. All right. I want to go to the Merchant of Steel. Even though the Pyre remains are over there. I will probably go to that Pyre remains. Oh, but the Merchant of Trinkets? I will probably go to the Pyre remains there, if we survive. Which is a real if in this case. But the Merchant of Steel makes the Legion of Wax so much better. So we're going to the left. And getting our 75 gold, going to the Merchant of Steel. Large Stone is amazing on the Legion of Wax, but it does make it take up 5 space. Let's look at the Legion of Wax. Legion of Wax. So it would take up 5 space, and the Twins of Wax would take up a whole bunch of space too. Still, the large stone on the Legion of Wax would be kind of amazing. Let's do it. Legion of Wax, you cost 5 space. However, you are now an amazing unit. Shield Stone is okay. We're gonna add it to something. The Wickless Baron, I think. Wickless Baron gets a Shield Stone. And then Battle Stone. Could go on the Legion of Wax. Could go on a Draft. Kind of like it on a Draft. Alright. Will we reroll? Yes, we will. We cannot get Speedstone. Speedstone would be good, but it's not amazing. Let's get another Shield Stone. Should we put it on the Wickless Baron again? Sure. Wickless Baron gets Damage Shield 6. And then Battlestone goes on the same draft. Let's make one really good draft. And the Unstable Vortex. Unstable Vortex, we're going to remove 2 cards. One of them will be Train Steward. One of them I have not yet decided. Primitive Mold, right? The Primitive Molds are getting better. But 4 of them in the deck is kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. We could remove the Ember Forge. It's not like it's doing much. I think I will remove one primitive mold. That will make our deck a lot more consistent. We're going to look at the Divine Temple, but probably not take anything. Yes, don't care about those. We're definitely not doing an Engage Pact right now. Alright. Archus, Darkness Incarnate. Here we come. So which of the Dark Shards are we dealing with? Blinding and Looming. Looming, you don't want to play spells. Blinding, you don't want to play non-morsel units or they become dazed. No, it applies dazed to all of the units. Both of those are kind of bad. Let's go. So we cannot play units in the second floor unless we want them to be dazed, which is not the worst. The Morsel Made Shadow Eater at the bottom, along with Primordium, is pretty nice. And we can play Old Magic and make the bottom really big. This is actually a very good start. Let's start with Plink. And then we do Primordium at the bottom. Morsel Made Shadow Eater in front. The Old Magic to give space at the bottom. We can just make the bottom really, really big. Kill everything at the bottom floor. It might not be the best because, you know, the Looming Dark Shard might come at the bottom, or the Blinding Dark Shard, then we couldn't play things. So putting lots of units on one floor may not be the best this time, because if we do that, if we make a whole bunch of space and then one of the Dark Shards is down there, it could be bad for us. So we don't really care about the morsels this turn. We could put them in the center and then plan to eat them later. Let's do that. 2 morsels in the center, ready to be eaten. Okay, we cannot play spells at the bottom. That's really bad because I want to play all the spells at the bottom. +1 to spells in hand. Ouch. Well, as much as I want to play all the spells at the bottom, we can play Space Prism here, play the Legion of Wax here, right? Yeah, no reason not to. We could play Umbra Stone on the Legion of Wax, because we can't play it at the bottom. Man. So when we play this, the spells in hand cost more. We don't want Old Magic to cost more. So I'm going to play Plink here. Actually, if this Plink costs 2, this is one that consumes, so that's not the worst. That's not the worst. We could have this Plink in our deck cost 2. In that case, let's... You gain armor 10. Yeah, let's kill this one. Get more space on the bottom floor. This Plink costs 2. Oh well. Now then. The top floor. We don't really care about the top floor. Prism Retrieval we definitely want to play. Yes, and we could play Umbra Morsel so that we could gain, essentially, we could make everything else in our hand free. So Prism Retrieval we are playing this turn first. We don't want to play it on either of the 2 bottom floors, let's play it here. That makes the draft a lot better. How is my dear sister? Who is your sister? feel like I should know this. I think I do know it, but I can't think of the name, but it's the Fell the Wings of Light, is that right? Is Fell the Wings of Light your sister? I don't know. So the Wickless Baron currently is not free, however we will make it free momentarily by doing this. And then we have morsels, which means we can play morsels like... Ooh. Which morsel do we want to play? I want to play a morsel here. I want to play another morsel. I want to play a morsel here. However, I want the plink to go down here so that I can get another morsel. So let's do this one. Actually, where are we going to put the draft? We could play the draft next. I want the draft down here. So, draft goes down here. It will go in the back and burn out quickly. Now both of you are dying, but we are going to play spells. This plink gives us another morsel. I do want the morsels. Let's see here. Magma morsel might go here. Magma morsel goes here. Morsel excavator goes here. And then Wickless Baron goes here. And then where do we want more space? I think I want more space. Actually, let's just kill this one. Instead of figuring out where we want more space, let's make sure this one dies. Great. This is the first battle that is actually going well. It's kind of because of the way we draw, the order in which we drew our cards, to be fair. We don't want to play spells there. We could play the Emberforge at the top. Seems like a fine thing to do. Emberforge at the top. I kind of want to give you Burnout, the Legion of Wax, because I want you to die and make your little wax children? I don't know what to call them. Oh, but I don't want to play a spell there. Maybe we'll play that one last. So first off, Old Magic at the bottom. Let's play Making of a Morsel at the bottom. Let's put a morsel here. And then... Man, making this cost 1 is not very nice. But we're going to do it, because I want this one to have Burnout, so that we can replay stuff. And I didn't want to play the other thing to add Burnout to a different unit. I want to be able to replay my Legion of Wax. Alright, at the bottom, we cannot play... We don't want to play units at the bottom. Non-morsel units, in particular. But we can play Draft, that is. We can play Primitive Mold, which is actually pretty nice. Because that gives us a really good draft. Kind of like the really good draft at the bottom. We could put this draft in the center, which would kill this unit, the Clipped Guardian. We want to play this draft at the bottom. No! I dazed all of my units. Oh, that was dumb. That was real dumb. Whoops. That was bad. The Old Magic... I want to play that at the bottom because I want to be able to play the Legion of Wax at the bottom once it dies. So we're going to keep you in front and just deal you some damage. Okay, dazing these units was terrible. Should not have played that draft. Whoops. Don't play spells at the top. Do not play spells at the top. Let's see if I can remember it this time. The bottom, everything is dying already. It's kind of nice. We can reform a unit and get this draft right here. That draft can do some damage. Let's put it here so it can do some damage. We don't have any more dead things for us to bring back. We can plink up here, and we can old magic up here. We want this one to be in the front, so let's old magic. Actually, do we want to old magic at the bottom? Just for the space. I do, but I also want to old magic here because we need the damage here. So we're going to old magic here. And then we're going to plink. Hopefully it kills this one. It did not, so we did not get a morsel. Oh well. We will play a morsel here. And then primitive mold doesn't do anything. So we are killing everything. Everything is perfectly fine. And I believe we will kill Archus without too much trouble. Alright. We actually have enough to play Gem Trove first, which is pretty nice. We don't want to play units here, but we could play the Purifying Cleanse, no problem to keep this alive. So, old magic at the bottom. Making of a morsel. Let's play Morsel Minor here. That'll make something free. It made the Purifying Cleanse free. Then we play Gem Trove to add more damage shield. And then we get more morsels to play. We could play them in the center. There's no problem with playing them in the center. But honestly, let's just play them at the bottom. And that makes the rest of our stuff free in our hand. So, Memento Mori can be played here to deal 40 damage to the boss. Actually, just take out the spell shield, I guess. Still useful, but not as useful. And I think we will win. Especially if the primitive mold brings us... Oh, we've got 2 primitive molds. Excellent. So we're guaranteed to get Legion of Wax. And a really nice draft. Alright. Legion of Wax does burn out. That's the big problem with it. So if it burns out, 1, we should probably put it in front, so that it can take the hits first. Because it's going to burn itself out. It doesn't get killed. The draft goes here, and then we're already winning. Let's win. Alright, that battle went well. How about that? We had a battle go really well. The Legion of Wax is quite good, especially when we can make tons of space on every floor if we want to, so that we can replay it. Kill friendly units. Reform random units to this floor until it exceeds its space. Wretch? Ooh, Wretch is not bad. Because we kind of don't produce as many morsels as I would like. But do we want Hallowed Halls? Because we could play it with Legion of Wax. And it does increase Fatal Melting and the other one that cares, Memento Mori. Kill friendly units, reform random units to this floor until it exceeds its space. I want to try it. I'm going to try it. but I don't know that it's the right choice. So Light of Seraph is the one that I was thinking I was going to get, but I think Herzl's Compound is actually what I want. Because +1 space on each floor is good, but if we get Herzl's Compound, we essentially draw both of our space-giving things, Old Magic and Space Prism, earlier, which means we kind of get Light of Seraph anyway, but we get to choose which floor the space goes in. So Herzl's Compound it is. Also works well with Flicker's Liquor, for that matter. So I do want to duplicate a card. Probably. I don't really have enough money for the Merchant of Trinkets to be that great. And we do want to go to the Pyrewings. Let's think about the last 20 pack shards. Ooh. This one, we don't get many pack shards. We only get 15 from the Divine Horde. So we actually need to get some pack shards this time. So we're going to the right, and we will be going to the Divine Temple. Let's click the Pyrewings first, and then look at the Divine Temple. Twin Stone. Twin Stone is pretty nice. Seek Stone is also pretty nice. Seek Stone would get the Prism Retrieval in our opening hand, which is pretty nice. We could get both of them technically, but I don't know if I want to. I guess let's look at our champion upgrade next. Buffet 5. That's actually pretty nice. Although, with how much health our units have, and how much damage shield and stuff, actually aggressive edible is a pretty decent way to go. Let's keep going aggressive edible. And gain an artifact. The first Hell Pact affects only one card. Yes, only Prism Retrieval. So I guess we're going Hammered Chestplates. It's fine. Or we could skip and get money. I just said our units had a fair amount of health. Let's skip. I don't care about either of those enough. And now we want to duplicate. What are we duplicating? We could duplicate Legion of Wax. Because the Legion is kind of good in our deck. I don't think we want 2 Morsel Made Shadow Eaters. And I don't think I want 2 Wickless Barons. And then of the spells, don't really care about duplicating many of the spells. We could duplicate Old Magic, but then we draw that a whole lot. Let's duplicate the Legion of Wax. Duplicate Legion of Wax, that means that we will have more Legion of Wax in our death pile, our discard, or whatever it's called pile, so that we can get it back with Reform. And then we have to take one of these. If I took Twin Stone, what would I put it on? Old Magic? Just add lots of space? Because the spell chain gains Purge, so we wouldn't get tons of Old Magics in our deck. That's one option. That would give us a ton of space, because we would be able to play it twice every time we draw it, and it does have holdover. I think I like that. So let's do it. Now I could also use the Seek Stone on Prism Retrieval, but I think I won't. I think we're going to not upgrade the pack shards all the way right now. So let's leave. And go into the next battle. Let's see if we can win this one. The Pyrewings. Ick. We are definitely not turning on Aggressive Amulet, because that would threaten our Pyre health, probably. So, let's go. I do hate this one. It is dazed, though. Being dazed at the very beginning is quite good for me. We could put a Legion of Wax at the bottom? I don't know that I want that, but we could do it. We're definitely playing Morsel Maid, Shadow Eater, and Primordium. Let's start with the... Ooh, the order that we play this in is important. The order that we play this in is important. If we play the Shadow Eater first, then when we play the Primordium, it gets to eat once, which is pretty good because it gets 40 damage extra right now, and that would be good on this enemy. On the other hand, if we play this one first, it will make something else cost 0, which could be the Morsel Maid Shadow Eater, and we kind of do need a lot of 0 cost cards this turn. Like if we played this one, we couldn't play the Legion of Wax unless it costs 0 from something. I think I'm going to start with the Morsel Maid Shadow Eater anyway. That made the worst one to cost 0. We get a couple more chances though. So this one next. And we did manage, because if it had chosen this one to be 0, we might not have gotten the Legion of Wax, but we do get it when the Ember Forge is 0. Let's put the Ember Forge at the top. Gives us Ember Drain, but it also gives us back the Ember. Legion of Wax goes here. Do we want to Purifying Cleanse the Legion of Wax so that it dies? No? Because we have a way to kill it anyway with the card that kills all of our stuff, Hallowed Halls. We could put Burnout on the Primordium. That actually makes it so that it does 5 damage when it dies. That doesn't do much. Sure. You've got Burnout so that if you die, you will deal 5 damage. Alright, you're only getting 70 damage. That's not good. Hopefully we can take care of you before you get to the top. Alright, another Legion of Wax. The problem is space. Cannot play it yet. So we can add a Morsel Miner to our hand. I like that. We could do the Hallowed Halls in the center. And we could do that after playing Draft in the center. I kind of like that. Would like to play the other Legion of Wax, but we just can't play it yet. We don't have the space anywhere yet. Wickless Baron, we could put at the top. It's not great at the top, but we could put it there if we wanted. Let's start with this. Draft goes here. Then we play Hallowed Halls and make this center really cool. There we go. So the center is pretty good now. It only got this one back. It did not get the Legion of Wax back, which actually is bad. That was not how I wanted that to be. I wanted it to get a second Legion of Wax. Oh well. And it also adds Burnout to this one, so we are taking more Ember Drain. Taking a lot of Ember Drain this turn. Okay, that went about as poorly as it could have gone. Unfortunate. We could play a Wickless Baron at the top. That would give us more Ember Drain. We're getting 5 Ember next turn. Okay. Well, we're playing Making of a Morsel, and we're playing it down here. Right? This can be eaten one more time. If I play it down here, then I will only do... This will go away, but I will get the damage here. So it's worth it. There. So you are going to die kind of no problem on the next floor. The problem is the future. Do I want to add Burnout to you? I guess I do, because we can't add more things to this floor right now. If I put this at the top, we will deal a little bit more to this when it gets there, but it's not the best place for this card to be. The bottom is the best place for this card to be. So I think I am going to put it at the bottom and just deal with the fact that the top is not going to be as good as I want it to be. And we don't kill the collector this turn. This one Pyrewings is a real problem. The first Pyrewings that showed up is a real problem. Although we did get Plink. We did get a couple of Plinks, and we do have enough Ember. Even though we had 3 Ember Drain, we did have enough Ember to play both Plinks. And we could play Umbra Assault. Okay, let's do some Plinks. This one has Piercing, so I kind of want to play it at the bottom, because it might kill that Steel Wings. So let's start with this Plink at the top. See what happens. Okay, interesting. That's not what I wanted to happen. We didn't get any morsels from that. Unfortunate. So what do we do now? We could reform a unit. If we do, we wouldn't have enough Ember to play other things. If we play this Plink here and we don't get a morsel unit from it, then we don't get to play something. Okay, what's going on here? I think we have to play Plink at the top. And since we played Plink at the top, we don't get to do it here, which means the Umbra morsel is best at the top as well. We will get to play the rest of our cards. And we get to play a lot of good stuff at the bottom. So play the 3 morsels first. That'll make everything else in the hand free. Reform a random unit would reform Legion of Wax. And we wouldn't get to play it this turn. So it's probably better to be in the consume pile than it is to be in our deck. So we won't play Primitive Mold. Where do we play the Space Prism? The Umbra Stone definitely goes here. Where do we play the Space Prism? I do want to play another Legion of Wax sometime. I think we'll want to do it at the bottom. So we're going to add space to the bottom. We're getting more Ember Drain, but we do get the extra Ember from the Forge. So the Forge is helping us. Making of a Morsel is good. We can reform, but reform would only get us the Legion of Wax that we can't play currently. I think we have to hope that making of a morsel, the morsel makes the gem trove free. That's what we have to hope. Fatal Melting only does 6 damage currently. We need to add some upgrades to that. So, making of a morsel gives me a morsel minor. We play the morsel minor down here. And then that made Gem Trove free. That is exactly what I wanted to happen. We could add damage shield here so that you survive and deal more damage. Kind of like that. So let's do that. That means that we have more morsels to play. Here's another morsel. Here's another morsel. And do we want a morsel for the Ember Forge? Not really. What does the Ember Forge need a morsel for? And then we do a little bit more damage, 6 more damage that is, to you, and we're very sad that you're not dying yet. And I don't know if we're going to be able to kill him next turn, so he might deal damage to the pyre. So we only have 2 Ember. 2 Ember. However, we do have a couple of Plinks and an old magic. So we're going to play this Plink, and we're going to play this Plink. I think both of those happen first up here. Plink, Plink. Alright, we killed that one. Great. That gives us a Rubble Morsel, which gives us an Ember, which is good. We have one available thing for Prism Retrieval. It is the Legion of Wax. We cannot yet play the Legion of Wax. We might be able to play it by the time we get it, though. You have Burnout 1, so you being at the bottom is not a problem. Let's put you at the bottom. You can burn out, give our Withless Baron more. And then we definitely want to kill the Pyrewings, so we're going to bring it to the front. These two don't deal any damage to the Pyre, so they can just be the way they are. Oh right, we get another old magic. Cool. And Memento Mori. Alright. So, we've gotten rid of all the potential damage to the Pyre. So it's just the boss that matters. Because even if this one makes it to the Pyre, it doesn't do any damage. We want the Legion of Wax. In order to play the Legion of Wax down here, we have to deal 30 damage. So let's deal 30 damage to our unit. So that we can play a Legion of Wax down here. There we go. We can now play Legion of Wax here. It would also be nice to play other things down here. Do we do another 30 damage? Sure. Another 30 damage. So that we can play morsels down here too. Play the Legion of Wax. It made a primitive mold free. Alright, we'll play that one. It gave me a Legion of Wax, which we can't play anywhere. Alright. The other one in here is a draft, though. We can primitive mold the draft and play it. Let's play it at the top. At the top. That gave Gem Trove. Wonderful. That's exactly what I wanted to happen, because now we can play morsels right here. That makes a fatal melting free, which we can play in the center. And not quite kill this, but this draft will kill it. Wonderful. I like how we have so many Legions of Wax, essentially. Oh, we're already winning. Just click the end turn button and win. Nice. That is the second battle that went well for us. 2 in a row. which means we might be winning. The Legion of Wax is really good at the end. I do not want these. Skip. Do I want these? Sacred Wicks is not terrible. It reforms units without bringing them to your hand, which means if a Legion of Wax is dead, then it can come back immediately. The Memories of the Melted we kind of don't need with Flicker's Liquor. So the only one I'm considering is Sacred Wicks. Don't really care about Engulfed in Smoke. So Sacred Wicks, do we want it? It's much better than the Reform cards that we have, but also it adds another card to the deck. Let's do it. Now then. Going to the Pyrewings might be a good idea. Both the Merchant of Magic and the Merchant of Steel are good choices. Don't know if I care about the Unstable Vortex a ton. So let's go to the left. Now we've got a Merchant of Magic, or sorry, a Merchant of Steel, and a Merchant of Trinkets, and the Divine Horde. Let's do the Divine Horde first. Gorge abilities trigger an additional time is good. The guild marker is fine. It would allow us to buy more right now. Shadowbox is fine, but is it better than Fossilized Fangs? The only Gorge ability that we have, granted, we only have one Gorge ability in our deck. It is Restore 10 health, deal 10 damage to enemy units. But we do make a fair number of morsels. Is it better to just have Shadowbox? I think it's better to have Shadowbox. Shadowbox it is. Now, let's look at the Merchant of Trinkets. Pyrestone Housing is not the best. Fade's First Blade is interesting. I don't like any of these that much. Let's look at the Merchant of Steel. Who would we add Quick to? Kinda don't care. The Quick Stone is not... the Speed Stone is not one that we care about. Strength Stone and Heart Stone are both good on the Legion of Wax. Let's put a Strength Stone on a Legion of Wax. So I don't care too much about these. I care about them a little bit, but not too much. And I don't care about these that much. So I think we re-roll... I'm going to re-roll here first. When a card with Consume is played, deal 30 damage to the front enemy unit. Not bad. The start of battle, summon a morsel miner on each floor. Not bad. We don't have any tombs, so Encased Ember is worthless. So we've got Trader's Quill and Commemorative Spike. Both are fine. How good is Trader's Quill? How many Consume cards do we actually have? Not many. Those two Plinks, Prism Retrieval, and Sacred Wicks, and Umbra Stone. We've got a few, but it's not amazing. The Commemorative Spike is better, I think. What about the Merchant of Steel? Let's re-roll here. Large Stone. We could add another Large Stone to a Legion of Wax. Is that good? That might be bad. That's a lot of space. That's a lot of space. But I really like it. Is Large Stone to a Legion of Wax better than Commemorative Spike? Because that's basically what I'm choosing between here. I think that the large stone is better. Alright, so large stone on a Legion of Wax, which makes it ridiculous in a somewhat foolhardy way. It costs 6 slots. But that's what we're going with. And then we have enough money to do the Strength Stone and the Heart Stone, so there's no reason not to. I believe we are going to add Strength Stone there. And might as well put a Heart Stone on the Morsel Maid, because we do put it in the front a lot. I mean, it does have a way to heal health, but still. Alright, we could even purge a card. Don't know if I want to purge a card. Merchant of Trinkets, we ended up not buying anything, which is a real surprise. Hellvent. What are we duplicating? We are not going to duplicate a Legion of Wax. I don't think I want ridiculous numbers of Legions of Wax. We could duplicate Hallowed Halls. It would be an interesting thing to duplicate. We could duplicate Old Magic. I don't want to do that. Could duplicate Prism Retrieval. It's not terrible. Could duplicate Wickless Baron. Let's see. I think I want to duplicate Hallowed Halls, actually. It's kind of a weird choice. And we're done. We've got our 100 pack shards. We have spent our money. We still have 120 money because we didn't like the options that much. And we're going to Seraph the Patient. Let's go through the final gauntlet. So, Rally and Cant are bad. Melee weakness, also kind of bad. It's going to be a dangerous fight. We did get our Morsel Maid Shadow Eater. We would be adding a lot to Seraph the Patient this turn, but I think it's worthwhile. So let's do it. So Morsel Maid Shadow Eater, we do that first. Then we do Primordium. We got Gem Trove already. That's really nice. I like that that started off that way. And then the Legion of Wax. This is the lesser Legion of Wax because it only costs 5. It doesn't cost 6. We could put that in the center. Let's put that in the center. I think I want the big one to go at the top because we're less... We want to play cards at the top less because of the Covenant rank 10. Purifying Cleanse could go on the Primordium for the same reason that we did that previously. Although we did kind of add some attack value to Seraph the Patient, which was not the best. Let's do the Morsel Miner on a different floor because of that. But we're still going to add it to this floor. Alright. We have already eaten the Primordium at the bottom. I like that. Because that means that once we get Umbra Stone, this one is going to be very nice. So you are dying because of the melee weakness that's on you. I am fine with that. We could even Hallowed Halls and have him die immediately anyway. This time we could do it before we play draft because we've learned not to do that. Let's play the Old Magic here. We want to add space at the bottom. And then we really want to play the drafts. And I really want to play Hallowed Halls. Let's play a Legion of Wax at the top. It made Memento Mori free, which is kind of the worst one for it to have made free. So where are we going to play a draft? We could play it in the center. Let's do it. If it makes Hallowed Halls free, I'll still play it. We got another draft to play. Alright. You can only go at the bottom. It made Old Magic free. Okay, so we didn't play Memento Mori, or we didn't play Hallowed Halls this turn. I would have liked to, but we didn't. And we're going to make a lot of space at the bottom, so that once you die, we can reform you and put you at the bottom. You are dying because of the exploding candle, I think. Right? No, you're dying because this guy's not dying, and he hits you back. Never mind. That was silly. Prism Retrieval is a pretty good place to start, I think. Let's start with Prism Retrieval. There's one available. What's the one? Oh, Emberforge. Well, where are we going to put Emberforge? We could put it at the bottom, I guess. It's not amazing, but we do have Old Magic that we get to play twice every turn. Well, maybe only once this turn. No, never mind. We can get Morsels. So we're going to play it twice. We don't want to kill you, because if we kill you, then this Legion of Wax dies. Do we want the Legion of Wax to die, actually? Maybe we do. We could play Umbra Assault at the top. Okay, let's do that. Umbra Assault at the top. That gives us a couple of morsels, which we can play at the bottom. Would have been nice to play Wickless Baron before playing these morsels, but we don't get to do that. Unless we play Emberforge first. Okay. Interesting. Interesting options here. The only place that Emberforge can fit is at the bottom, so I'm going to put it at the bottom. That made the wrong one free. Okay. So we play Morsel Excavator. That made the Wickless Baron free. Unfortunately, it makes him free after we've already killed a unit. But there it is. We play Old Magic, of course. And then we play Morsel Jeweler, and we get to play the other Old Magic. And just add ridiculous amounts of space to the bottom. Do we want Burnout on any of our units? I guess we want Burnout on you? But not enough that I want to add one attack value to Seraph? Seraph is at the bottom. We have a whole bunch of plinks. I like the plinks. And we've got 3 things to bring back. One of them is Legion of Wax, which does not fit anywhere. Let's start with Plink. Did not kill that one. Let's try the other Plink. Did not kill that one. We got unlucky with the Plinks. I guess I could have used it here to guarantee. So next we will play Primitive Mold. We'll play it not where Seraph is. We got a draft. That's exactly what I wanted. So we'll play the draft here. Now we can play Umbra Stone on you, which is what I wanted. We can play Primitive Mold again, but if we draw the Legion of Wax, I might be slightly sad. It's a 50% chance. I would be slightly sad. I wouldn't be very sad. Let's play it. We got a draft. Excellent. That's the one that I wanted. And then we use Old Magic twice. We'll kill you with it. And we will deal you some damage with it. Good. Now we've got a bunch of space at the bottom. We're dealing a bunch of damage at the bottom. We're not killing everything, but we are getting close. The Overgorger is almost dead. That's the biggest problem. The Overgorger is dying. It's dying quite quickly at this point. We want to do the Plink down here. We've got 2 Plinks, one has piercing. The piercing does not matter. So let's just play one. Great, we got an Umbra morsel, which we can play here. Gives health to our guy, so he no longer dies. We can play Plink here, which will maybe give us another morsel. It did not. Sad. Ooh, we can reform a unit here, right? Let's do it. Reform a unit right here. Oh. It adds it to our hand. Whoops. That's expressly what I did not want to happen, but I didn't think about it hard enough. Still, we actually have enough space to put the Legion of Wax in front at the bottom. In front at the bottom. There we go. Alright, and we can do a Fatal Melting here to do some damage. Alright, the bottom is great, except for the fact that everything's burning out. But even though this is burning out, we get the second part of the Legion, which will also have burnout, to be fair, but still. Alright. That also means that our Baron down there is getting really good. You die for some reason. Why do you die? Oh, of course. You die from one of the Twins of Wax. Obviously. The Hallowed Halls. We do not want to play it at the bottom. I would be happy to play it at the top, though. Let's think about what else we're doing first. Do we need more space at the bottom? You know, I don't think we need more space at the bottom. We could add some space to the top. Let's do that. Kill this one. Deal damage to you. That adds some space at the top. Then we could do Hallowed Halls, and it might not fill up as quickly. We will do Making of a Morsel. And Making of a Morsel. Put a morsel here. Put a morsel here. What do we have in our consume pile? The 3 units that we have. Draft, Draft, Legion of Wax. So, if I primitive mold... Nope, let's just do Hallowed Halls at the top. Hallowed Halls at the top. Bam! Great. That's taking up so much space. Alright, and we can also play a primitive mold and a plink. We'll play a plink here. We did not hit that one, so we didn't get what I wanted. But we can primitive mold and get a draft, or a Legion of Wax, actually. We'll have that go through the deck again, I guess. Very obviously, the Legion of Wax is Legion. It's all over the place. The floor has reached the 7-unit limit because of the Legion of Wax. Alright. We could do Hallowed Halls again. That's fun. We could do it here and get back a Legion of Wax, most likely. That seems cool. Umbra Assault. We can kill this unit. Get a bunch of morsels. Granted, we can't play the morsels at the bottom anymore. So getting the morsels might have been a bad idea. Whoops. Let's play Hallowed Halls here, though. There we go. Wonderful. The 7-unit limit has been reached at the bottom. You can not even see the Baron back there. There is a Wickless Baron in the way back there. So, let's do Old Magic. Kill this one. Let's do Old Magic on the boss. We will play... None of these are worth playing because this one has reached the unit limit and these two have so much space taken up. Alright, let's go. The Legion of Wax continues. And the exploding candle is dealing a fair amount of damage. Alright, so we actually don't have the Legion of Wax here. And we don't have a way to get it back. Oh no. We don't get the Legion of Wax for this part of the battle. That's very unfortunate. We can play Memento Mori, which is doing a ton of damage at this point. Fatal Melting is doing a good amount of damage too. Playing Purifying Cleanse doesn't do a whole lot. Space Prism. I guess that we're going to do that on this floor. But I don't know that it's going to matter much. We'll play Old Magic. Actually, because Memento Mori and a Fatal Melting deal as much damage as they do, those will take out these two. And then we're only dealing with Seraph. So we'll play Old Magic on Seraph to deal 30 damage. Okay, well, we're only dealing 673 to Seraph this turn, which is not great, actually. It's not great. But we do have a number of things that we can get back that will deal a fair amount of damage to Seraph. So firstly, we can't play the Legion. We can't play the Legion because we do not have space for it. We don't even have close to space for it. We can apply Burnout 3 to one of our Burnout units. So we could apply Burnout 3 to one of the ones in the back, or we could do it to this draft. We're obviously going to use Plink. Plink is easy. Memento Mori does a lot of damage. It's probably better than most of the other things that we can do with three energy. So Purifying Cleanse, I'm going to put on you, because I think you will deal the most extra damage with the extra burnout. And then Old Magic and Memento Mori. Alright, so we have to win at the top floor. Unfortunately, the top floor is kind of my worst floor. So we could die. We could die here. There's a distinct possibility of us dying right here. Because don't know how much damage we're going to do next turn. We can do Hallowed Halls. Oh, but we don't need to. We're already winning. Okay. Click the end turn button. Don't do anything else. Just click the end turn button and win. Alright. The Legion won. Good job, Legion. Oh man, the Legion of Wax is nice. I did not realize how good it was. We're at the final part. Let's see if we can take out the Last Divinity. I am a little bit worried here. I'm a little bit worried. Particularly not the Last Divinity, but everything leading up to the Last Divinity. One of those units could get by and we could die. Back again. Yes, I am back again. So at the bottom, we've got the Primordium. We do not have our Morsel Made Shadow Eater at the bottom yet. So what do we play alongside Primordium? We could play Legion of Wax. That is a distinct option. We do want to play Making of a Morsel here. The Wickless Baron has damage shield 6. And we do want it to be at the bottom, but I don't know if we would rather have Legion of Wax at the bottom, at the beginning. I think probably we want Legion of Wax at the bottom at the beginning. It takes up 5 space. We could not put the Primordium with it. Ooh. Because that's 7 space and we only start with 6. Where are we putting the Primordium? I guess we could put it on floor 2 with the Wickless Baron. Or we could put the Wickless Baron and the Primordium at the bottom. That's probably the better option. So Primordium behind the Wickless Baron. And then we do a Morsel Miner. Ooh, we have Gem Trove, which is good. I think the Legion of Wax is going in the center. The lesser Legion of Wax, that is. Do we want Purifying Cleanse in anybody? No. So we're going to play a Morsel Miner here. And we're going to play Gem Trove at the bottom. And then figure out what to do with these morsels. So another damage shield at the bottom isn't bad. We do want the Umbra morsel with the Legion of Wax. Let's add another Morsel Jeweler down here, and then we just have a morsel in our deck. Which is fine, I guess. We didn't kill much. Which is bad. Because any of those getting to the top is bad. There's the Morsel Made Shadow Eater. Do we have a way to add space? We do not. Ick. So the Morsel Made Shadow Eater, I want it to be at the bottom. And we can't do that currently. Ick. The Umbra morsel can't, or the Umbra Assault can't even take out something. That's not good. Okay, what do we do? The Morsel Made Shadow Eater kind of came at the wrong time. And that is a problem for me. I guess we do Prism Retrieval? Man, the Umbra Assault not being able to kill something is pretty bad. We could put the Morsel Made at the top. It's not great at the top. It's actually not great at the top. But we might need to put it down. Just because we need to put it somewhere. At least it eats the morsels immediately, so even though this has a sweep, it won't be affected by it that much. Oh man, this is not great. But I think we need to play this card. So if we need to play this card, we're going to play it at the top. The draft. Where do we play the draft? At the bottom, maybe? Maybe we play Prism Retrieval first? It says 3 available. One of those is the Legion of Wax, which would be amazing. One of them is just another draft, which is not amazing. So, what are we doing? We could play a draft, which would make something in our hand free. We could start with that. That is an option. And I would put it at the bottom. So let's do that. This makes something free. It made the Ember Forge free. Of all things, the Ember Forge is the one that I least cared about being free. We could put it at the top with the Morsel Maid. It would be bad for next turn, but it would die the turn after that, so it just wouldn't be around. Let's play the Prism Retrieval next. Prism Retrieval gets us a draft. Not the best option. This draft will also go at the bottom, I think. We could put it here, actually. Putting it in the middle is not bad. Let's put it in the middle. That kills another one. So that's pretty nice. The Morsel Maid, do we still need it at the top? Because we could put it up there. We might not need it at the top anymore. And it would be better to put it at the bottom, because I'm going to be putting lots of morsels with it. And we need something to be in the front at the bottom, and it should not be the Wickless Baron. So I think I'm not going to play it. And I could play the Ember Forge at the top. Where else would we play it? It won't give me extra Ember for very long, but I don't really care about the extra Ember. And then Umbra Assault. Ooh, we can cause this one to die this turn. Great. Okay. That was a difficult turn, but I think I did pretty well on it. Navigating that turn. The only questionable thing was putting the Forge at the top, because now if I draw my Legion of Wax, I can't play it. Let's see what we draw. We drew the Legion of Wax and I can't play it. Ick. Of all of the problems. You are dying this turn, that's not good. We want to play Space Prism here. Definitely. I like that you are dazed. The middle is dying, which is good. I think we play this Plink at the bottom first. Plink at the bottom did not do much. Darn. Now we play Space Prism to add space at the bottom. We use Making of a Morsel. And we use Primitive Mold, which could get me back the Legion of Wax, which would be bad. Could get me back a draft, which would be good. Great, got me back a draft. Do I want to put the Morsel Miner in front? Maybe? If I put the draft in front, then it dies, but the point of putting something in the front down here is to make the Wickless Baron not die. The Wickless Baron has 1 damage shield, so it gets hit for 20, and then it gets hit for 11. think the giraffe has to go in front. Giraffe in front. Now the Wickless Baron survives. You die because of spikes, which is unfortunate, but if you die, we can get you back, which is actually kind of nice. Now we can play a Morsel Minor here. And then we can play Umbra Stone. I honestly want it on you, the Wickless Baron, I guess. And then we can't play this Legion of Wax, because it doesn't fit anywhere. Alright. Not an amazing turn, but at least our bottom didn't die. It mostly died, to be fair, but it didn't die. Fatal Melting and Hallowed Halls. We got 2 Hallowed Halls, actually. Huh. We did get a Plink. We got a Plink with Piercing. Plink with Piercing is pretty good. We should play that right here. Yes, it killed that one. It's the one that I wanted it to kill the most. I don't like that you are surviving. We will probably play Hallowed Halls here. Probably play the Morsel Excavator at the bottom. Do we play another Plink here? Let's play the Morsel Excavator at the bottom. And then consider. That made Hallowed Halls free. I think we play Hallowed Halls here. And we would be able to do it twice, right? Oh no! Oh no, the armor! Oh no! I added so much armor to them. That was dumb. That was so dumb, and I need to play Hallowed Halls again, too. Because we didn't get what we needed. Oh no. Alright. No! Why did you get that? Okay, well... in the end, this one went extremely poorly. We could actually die because of how poorly that one went. Oh no. I should not have played Hallowed Halls there. I just did not realize how badly the Harvest would hit me there. I might die from those two. From those two making it to the very top. Yeah. Okay, we need to take care of the top. Luckily, we do 160 damage with Memento Mori. Unluckily, we need to do something else first. So let's do the Plink down here to try to take out the marksman. We got one. That's nice. Could play Old Magic to take out the other one, but we might need to play Old Magic up here. Let's play Sacred Wicks and reform 2 units. Alright, a Legion of Wax. Legion of Wax at the top seems to be what we want. I mean, I actually want it at the bottom, but we probably need it at the top, is the thing. So we play it at the top. Did that make Memento Mori free? It did not. So now we play a Primitive Mold. It gave me a Draft. Also good to put at the top. We need Memento Mori to be free, so I need to play Purifying Cleanse on something. I think it goes on this one. So then, you have how much health? Oh my gosh, you have so much health. Alright. The draft goes here. That makes Memento Mori free. The sweep kills it. So it did nothing being put there. We do Memento Mori. Still doesn't kill that unit. And then we Old Magic. Old Magic at the bottom would be better. I mean, we can play this one right here. Does not save you, but a Magma Morsel would, or an Old Magic down here would. Oh man, I think I'm gonna die from this one. Because we do 40 damage and he has an amazing amount of health. We need to play both Old Magics right here. We should not have played that Giraffe up there. But even without it, I'm not sure that I would have survived. Okay, I think I die here. Let's see if we die here. And I'm dying because of a stupid decision that I made. Which feels the worst. Yep, I die here. Because of a stupid decision. No! Oh, that feels terrible. That feels terrible. I would not have died if I did not make the decision I made. Anyway, those things happen, and oh well. The Umbra level up, Blazing Bolts, Purge, deal 30 damage to the front enemy unit, add a stronger version of this card to your discard. I wonder what the stronger version is. Okay, I guess we have to play with that to find out what it is. And Chain of Gems. I've played with this. We've played with this not in the daily, which means this was not locked. I don't understand what this game thinks locked artifacts are, because I've played with a couple of locked artifacts before they've been unlocked. A Melting Remnant also makes it to level 8. Intent on Death. I've also played with that. Doesn't feel like these are unlocks. Mold Braces. This is new. Friendly units gain Extinguish. Apply Armor 5 to the front friendly unit. That's not bad. I'll take that. And Trample. We've applied 6 Trample. Previous was 3. And damage taken. 3,909. Previous best was 1,950. Okay. Well, unfortunately that one was a loss. That is a loss that I'm going to be a little sad about for a while, because it didn't have to be a loss. I think I could have won that final battle if I had not made a mistake. But still, counts as a loss, and we will try a different champion that I have not yet Divinity Mastered next time, and we'll come back to this one soon, because we have not yet Divinity Mastered it. In this run, both the Umbra and the Melting level up to 8, the last of the clans to make it to that level. Again, no mastered cards, since this was another loss at the very end against the Last Divinity. On the right, I am happy to say that the Discipled Foot Soldier becomes the 10th enemy to make it to 100 kills, where I stop counting. Goodbye, Discipled Foot Soldier. You have been checked off my list. Also, 2 more bosses make it to the 10 kill threshold, Daedalus the Professor, who I am showing here, and Archus, Darkness Incarnate. On the left, I am featuring the Legion of Wax. This is the first run I've played with the Legion, and I ended up with 2 of them in my final deck. They worked very well with Reform and Exploding Candle. The Wickless Baron makes it to the 10 battle threshold, and even though Harvest doesn't work with Eaten cards, it works wonders when my units are dying, reforming, and burning out constantly. This was a great run for trying out cards I haven't played with. I used 6 cards I had never played with before, and 11 cards that made it to the 10 battle threshold this run. For artifacts, I am featuring the Exploding Candle, which I played with the first time in this run. It was great with Draft and Legion of Wax after I reformed it, dealing damage to enemies whenever my burnout units died, which was a lot. Flicker's Liquor was amazing once again. Its discounts gave me enormous amounts of Ember each turn, especially because it works with morsel units. There is a lot more detail in my tracking sheet, link in the video description. New episodes every Saturday, and thanks for watching.